Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, here to tell you everything you need to know before making a point guard build in NBA 2K26. So, shout out to 2K for allowing me early access in the community creator tip-off right here, allowing us to get on here 24 hours early and learn things like, for instance, how to use our cap breakers. So, in this case, I have a lot of things I want to talk about in today's video, but we can start off with just the cap breaks. So, I find it interesting, and if you want to look into this more yourself, I'm just here to give you this little tidbit of information. This is the only time I've ever seen a build with around 90 or let alone like over 85 have a rating go up by more than 1, and in this case it's 3, your driving dunk on an 89 going up to 92. So I think it's just based off like it's kind of cheaper to get driving dunks on guards, and that's just kind of how it is naturally. But besides that, what I was going to tell you is to plan your cap breakers ahead, especially for these point guard builds. So 99 3-point is extremely expensive, and we've known that since last year. So doing things like going 94 3-pointer and getting a couple good badges to go along with that, and setting yourself up for long-term cap breaks into 99 3-pointer seems to be a decent play, if you ask me. Now also, off rip, something I need to tell you about is if you are a guard that's making a build under 6'5", aka 6'4", 6'3", 6'2", anything below 6'4", you can't equip standing dunk packages. So this is complete, catfish right here, even thinking that you can use a cap breaker on standing dunk, let alone put ratings into it. This is just because it's tethered up by the fact that some other ratings went up, obviously, as well. But with this build, I played like 2 different sets of cap breakers around this, and I don't want to play around the cap breakers too hard with builds, but with the guards, there's extreme value in it. So for instance, 94 3-pointer is already a pretty good threshold to hit in terms of reaching some badges and stuff like that are very comfortable shooting. But then on top of that, it sets you up to be able to get 99. And same goes for playmaking and speed with ball. I'll show you the difference between like the best dribble style in the game versus, let's say, the guard restricted ones. And I think Levine is low-key just better in general, but we'll compare. We'll let you, see for yourself. But 86 speed with ball is already a lightning launch threshold of hitting gold, and then when you go +5 from there, aka 91, that's the Hall of Fame threshold, and 91 is where you get the small guard restricted dribble styles and stuff like that too. So it works out perfectly, in my opinion, to just start at 86 and work your way into 91, almost the exact same way it works out where you start at 94 and go to 99 3-point eventually. So that's 2 sets of cap breaks right there already as is. But then on top of that too, there's ways you can eventually scale into your cap breakers on things like perimeter defense even. You have 74 perimeter right here, that's all bronze badges. This eventually will go to like 85-ish, 86-ish, and get you things like silver defensive badges. So that's all 5 cap breaks alone right there, maybe even 4 for that matter too. It is 4, yeah. Anyway, that's enough cap breaker talk. We have a lot of other things we want to discuss in today's video, so let's move along with that. I hope y'all enjoy, and if you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to swim to 1,000 likes. So, let's just start from top to bottom. I'm gonna read these all off, and then we can detail them like more individually. So, I already talked about this. High dribble style requirements don't feel that much more elite compared to the 75 requirement one with Levine, so tall guards benefit big time. I will remember this time. I didn't remember in the lockdown video to show you all the Zach LaVine dribble style, but I'll take 2 builds and compare them. I'll show one with the like a Steph Curry dribble style, for instance, or Lillard with 91 speed with ball, then also show you what Zach LaVine with 91 speed with ball looks like in the MyNBA. Now, I didn't put the standing dunk thing as a note, but just remember that if you're a small guard, you can't get standing dunks, almost the same way as if you are a tall guard, aka someone who wants to embrace the 6'5", 6'6" style a little bit more, or even crazy enough, the 6'8", which actually seems doable somewhat. Remember that you don't have access to the small guard jump shots or the small guard just in general animations. Now, shout out to 2K Lab. They actually allow us to even just sort these types of things where you could, select your minimum height, go anything 5'9" to 6'4", and you'll see a plethora of animations they have on this, whether it's jump shots, layups, dribble pull-ups, go-to shot, stuff like that. So there's a lot of them, but then even more so when you don't have anything sorted, there's even more. So point being is just know what kind of jump shots and know what kind of animations you're even gonna be able to equip when you make the build, because if you make a 6'5", 6'6", you're not going to be able to get those types of animations that small guards can get. And in the past, they've been somewhat meta, like Patty Mills base and stuff like that. I'm just letting you know, we don't know for a fact which ones are going to be the best. That's going to take at least a couple days or weeks or something like that. But I'm just letting the information be there for you, and if there's something that you've used in the past and really want to use, you might want to consider that when making the build. Anyway, passive dribble hand turned off. Let's go ahead and pan over to the actual gameplay again. So this is something you're going to find in your controller settings. You can just go to the menu, scroll down to controller settings, then it'll be right here at the bottom of your screen instantly. You want to disable this 100%. Having this enabled is going to make you, while you're standing still with the ball in your hand, just switch back and forth, left, right. Essentially, it wants to, I don't know, make you look less statically doing nothing, essentially, when you are doing nothing. But this is going to leave you very prone to a lot of different things, like bumps and just like in general screw up your dribbling if you're trying to like do combos that were based off of you having in your left hand and then instead it ended up in your right. So then you flicked to your right to try and do a size up, but instead it did like, you know, the ball hand size up. So just know you want to turn this off. I truly do believe that, no matter who you are. There may be like a niche 4% of people in the community that want this to be on so that you can like utilize the ball hand switch as a dribble move, I suppose. But I'm not a believer in that at all. Also, in case you guys didn't know, I'm teaming up with NBA 2K Lab again this year, and like always, they have the best statistical jump shots on their website, put a ton of time into the labbing of those, and on top of that, have exact visual cues now for those jump shots they recommend to you. So first, they find the exact best jump shots and put them into the data that you can use if you buy the premium. Then, on top of that too, they have the ability to even just practice the jump shot if you don't want to sit in the my court, wait for a ball return, or for that matter, even have to track down your own ball. And if you're not someone that wants to use the most meta jump shot of like the best green window and the absolute fastest, what you can do is plug your controller into your PC and shoot 10 shots of what feels comfortable to you, and they'll recommend you one of the jump shots that they've created as well. And again, this is a huge feature right here, the ability to take one of the custom jump shots they've recommended to you and find the exact release point of it and know exactly when to let go of your button on the controller or when to let go of the ball in your player's hands, obviously. And on top of that too, even do motion style tests, and they've got rankings of a ton of dribble moves. So if you want to check this out, like I said, go to NBA2KLab.com or the link in my description and put code LAKER for your promo code. This is going to save you about $1 per month or up to $2 depending on what length of subscription you decide to get. So when you come over to the website, you can hit the sign up tab, come over to the length of subscription you'd like to sign up for, and then hit register. And then when you do hit register, it'll create a coupon code, and you just are going to put in code LAKER right here if you'd like to as well. Now you guys absolutely feel free to sign up for whatever length of subscription you would like to do, but if you want to help me out, I make a percentage based off of the initial subscription price that you pay. So for instance, if you were to get the monthly, I'd only make a percentage off the $7.99, but if you were to do the yearly, I'd make the percentage off of that. So again, feel free to do whatever you'd like to. I don't want to pressure you any which way, but if you want to help me out just in specific, I'd really appreciate that as well. So I hope y'all enjoying the video. Let's get right back to it, but one last time, if you want to subscribe to the NBA 2K Lab Premium, just use code LAKER at checkout for 20% off. Anyway, that's all. Let's get back to the video now. Next up, we have the +1 and +2 slots. I'm going to go ahead and pan over to this screen right here. You can see the sorting we got on this. It's so clean. I don't even have to edit my like crazy. I just got everything right where we need it to be. But anyway, for the badge tiering and stuff like that, for the +1s, +2s, I have a lot of different archetypes here for you if you wanted to look into stuff like this. So like, just know the only thing that's false here is that Lightning Launch is a tier 2 for only 6'8" point forwards. It's not for 6'6" and 6'7" or anything like that. Lightning Launch is a tier 2 badge for 6'8" only. So anyway, besides that though, I mean, I'd have to assume a lot of the ways you want to go about this, and if you want to look into the video that we made specifically on the max +1, +2, how it works and all that stuff, because it is very complicated, and I don't think it's meant for a 15-minute video like this. It's definitely its own subject. And also, for the guards out there, I want you to really think about the fact that the +1 and +2 is a seasonal thing. For your build specialization, you will keep it permanently once you've unlocked it, but also something to think about with the specialization is it going to be easier for you to unlock objectives that are playmaking based or shooting based? Because if you are a point guard, I'm assuming your highest attributes are very likely playmaking and shooting. I'm going to assume that you're somewhere around the 80s to 90s with the ball handling and the speed with ball and stuff like that. And I'm going to assume that you're in the 90s range with the shooting as well. So you have a lot of badges that, you know, maybe, and also another thing, dude, oh man, we're going thorough with this stuff too, because it's something to really think about. If you are somebody that is doing what I was talking about earlier in the video, where you're going to play with a 94 three-point rating and then cap break into 99, maybe don't specialize in shooting. Just a thought, you know, because if you eventually get 99 three-pointer, you're going to have every badge in the game on legend as is anyway. So it's kind of a bad play to specialize in that, because then you have nothing left to use that specialization on. And you can only choose one specialization per build. So when you choose shooting, you're locked in on shooting on that build forever now. However, the max +1, +2s from the season will be, you know, something that changes at all times. So if I were you, were going to do something like that, would specialize in playmaking, even if it's going to be harder to actually grind out and stuff like that, and then use the +1/+2s for the short term when you are at 94 3-pointer on your shooting badges. Then eventually you can switch those off because they're not your specialization ones, they're just the regular ones, and then you'll be able to essentially slot different badges in there rather than the ones that you had for the shooting and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But if you want to talk like max potential, you can have at most 4 tier 1s equipped at once, but that's if you have the whole season pass, finished. That's if you have your specializations and stuff in those tier 1 slots, so just keep that in mind. But your tier 2s are lame as a small guard, 100%. I mean, if you're below 6'8" and stuff like that, and you're a guard oriented, like, badge +1er, if you will, you're going to get stuck with like Dimer and Mixmaster pretty much 100%. You can look into this yourself. If you got a little bit of block, you could probably get things like High Flying Denier and stuff like that in tier 2. But for the small guards out there, or people that don't have enough like defense, essentially, you're stuck with this. It definitely sucks for sure. But anyway, let's come back to the notes right here. So we talked about the +1s, the passive dribble, the be careful of the animations and stuff like that. We'll come back to the dribble style as well at the end. Moving forward, we have plan your cap breaks around high attributes. We already talked about that as well with how, we want you to look into the 94 to 99 range of the 3-point and stuff like that. And as I mentioned here, specifically 3-pointer. Are you a contact dunker or an open dunker? Now, I need to ask this because it is the difference between whether you want the very fine-tuned 89 to 93-ish driving dunk, or would you rather have just 80, 75, 65, or just the bare minimum to be able to dunk in general, because the difference in that can be pretty expensive in your build. Now, I will say for the small guards, I think driving dunk is pretty cheap. Don't expect to be a great dunker though as a small guard. You get different animations than big people do. It's harder for you to get into like, dunks from far range because your body's not as big, and the contact dunking doesn't seem to be quite as efficient either. So just consider the style of guard you are, whether you're someone that wants to be getting contact dunks and how that influences the height of your build, maybe even too, but also whether you just are willing to play the budget a little bit on just open dunk ability, simple as that, and focus more on being, let's say, like a two-way, or being an extreme investment on your playmaking, like with high pass ac and high 3-point, while also having all the other stuff that is involved as well. So anyway, lastly in the video, we have a lot of suggestion things. Like, rather than me giving you like actual in-build tips, it's like just kind of telling you what to expect when you like make a build. So think about the modes you want to play before selecting your height. 6'4" and below is really just not safe on 2s. It never has been and probably never will be. It's hard to say, but it doesn't look like this game is going to be either, for that matter. I mean, 6'8s are super popular. It sounds like dunking is really good, and layups in general are really good too. So you being someone that lacks the interior defense, and for that matter, rebounding too, because rebounding is an even more stressed topic here. Of if you're stretch big, let's say, or let's just say the person that you depend on for rebounding, right? Like the big man that you're playing with on 2s. And he has to contest a stretch big on the perimeter. That leaves you and your matchup as the only people on the court that can rebound. If you are a 6'4" guard and under and don't have like 60 rebound at least, you might be cooked. Like, you're going to get shots chucked on your big man all game on the stretch big, and you're not going to have any chance at that rebound if it's someone at the 1 that has elite rebounding. So keep that in mind, because do-it-alls, they're going to be coming out here with like 80 rebound probably, and it's not going to be a good look for you, especially if it's offensive for that matter. But on the contrary, though, 6'4" and belows are really common on Pro-Am and 3v3 at the highest level and stuff like that. So that segues into the next one. Remember if you're that guy or not. All right? So if you're the guy in the friend group that is considering making a guard, don't. Because you probably already were anointed to be the guard if you deserve to be. Now, the other thing is, obviously, play the game to have fun. Don't get stuck playing a role player if you don't want to. Obviously, make the build that fits whatever you want to do the most. But remember that being bad at the game is not fun either. So make a user-friendly guard if you want to make a guard if you're not that good at it. So for instance, be 6'6" to 6'8". Be on something that doesn't require you to be constantly skilled at all times and have crazy like speed with ball, 3-point investment like these meta guards are going to be coming out here. But the problem is they're the highest skill gap build in the game. You have to be good at it to actually have fun doing it. Because if you aren't good at it, you're not going to have fun doing it. You'd probably have more fun doing something that takes a bit less skill but has a higher floor, essentially, of the way you can play. Don't have terrible defense if you're not good enough on offense to like make it worth you having terrible defense. So anyway, let's go ahead and get over to the builder, or like the gameplay real quick. I want to show you the difference between those speed with ball dribble styles and stuff like that. All right, so here we have a test of the exact same ratings on the players. So let's just use Curry, for instance, and then we have also Lillard. Sometimes the ratings do vary just because it's just how loading into this thing works, but it should be a pretty identical test. So anyway, here's the Curry dribble style. As you can see, just moving like, you know, toward ball hand or cross launch, however you want to go about it. Not the fastest, realistically. Now, LaVine, for reference, quite a bit faster, I would say, personally. And mind you, that one has a requirement of, you know, 91 and the other has a requirement of 75. And these are with the exact same ratings, the exact same badges. So, like, the cross launch in this, even better than Curry. I would say the ball hand, you know, sprint, also better than Curry. And then Lillard, I think Lillard's ball hand move was pretty decent. It's like the same thing as LaVine, if not, you know, just a little bit worse anyway. So, and then his cross launch, not the greatest anyway. It's kind of whatever, you know. So, point being is the requirements are not that crazy. So, if you are a small guard and you want to try these, feel free to. It may still influence more than just me sprinting downhill and that's it, you know, or like to side to side. But I just wanted to give you some reference right there to understand that like LaVine as a small guard is still even potentially a good play. So, anyway. That's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to win to 1,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put guard or put PG in the comments to search parts of the way through. Anyway, that's all. Hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more of these. If you want to see any more of like the things you need to know as like before making your build. We also have like full-on dribble style tests, the floater tests. I tested the layups. It was a little bit less clean, but still, tested the layups for every height and stuff like that in one video. And then if you want to learn more about cap breakers, I mean, we've got a ton of videos on the channel right now for you to check out. So feel free to just search the channel for anything that you're interested in. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.